Y'all, thank you for having me here. And to the leaders in the church, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to address the congregation. Thank you for sharing the time. Time is such a precious commodity. It truly is. We can never get enough time. And I want you to know a couple things. I am exactly today who I've always been. I'm a man of God. I'm a warrior. I'm a dad and I'm a husband. And those are the things that most define who I am. And guys, we do have a time for choosing. We do. Freedom is not passed in our DNA. It is not simply handed down. It is earned generation by generation. And it's a task that I don't take lightly because I have seen most of the world. I have done many things. What I want to do is share a little bit about where I come from. I think you deserve to know that. Before I was lieutenant governor, before I was an Army Green Beret, I think you need to know that. Yes, I want to talk about what I've done, but what's most important is I want to talk about where we need to go. And I would love to open it up to Q&A, if that's okay, at the end of this. Is that all right? All right. Well, y'all, to say that this is actually, let me say this. You all were absolutely incredible. Guys, that was beautiful, amazing. I almost forgot. I was telling myself in my head, to do that. To say that this is a long way from where I come from is an understatement. It truly is. To be the 21st Lieutenant Governor of Florida, I serve 23.5 million people every single day. And it is not a task that I take lightly. It's not something that I don't wake up with every day. But y'all, it's not a burden. I get to do that. It's a responsibility. Responsibility and accountability go hand in hand. And I want you to know that it's an honor and a privilege to wake up every day with that. Before I did that, I was a Green Beret. But where I started off, I was born to a 16-year-old kid. I was. My birth mom had issues with drugs and alcohol. I was born into a broken home. I was adopted by my grandparents. We lost our farm in the early 80s. It's all the makings of a fantastic country song. It is. And, being from a broken home, growing up on welfare, not having two wooden nickels to rub together, it doesn't define who I am. You see, that's what's great about the dream of America. What's great about Florida. It doesn't matter where you come from. All that matters is what you choose to do with where you come from. And in this state and in this nation, guys, the American dream is real. It's alive. If I can do it, anybody can do it. That is worth protecting and fighting for every single day. It's what makes our nation special. You know, growing up like that and in a home that was, run by my grandparents, it wasn't always easy. My dad died in high school. My mom passed away. There were times my senior year I lived in my truck with my girlfriend's grandparents, sometimes on my friend's couch. But again, man, God's plan is bigger than ours. You see, I can stand here today as the lieutenant governor for the greatest governor in our state's history, knowing full well that I was a kid from a broken home, from a map dot, a place you've never heard of, because God is good. Our freedoms come from God, and they're upheld by our Constitution. And I can stand here today because God uses imperfect vessels to accomplish His will. He does. It matters, guys. I went to college for a couple years. I realized I wasn't going to the NFL very quickly. I did. I joined the Army. I became an intel guy. And it wasn't where I wanted to be. But the Lord is exactly where I needed to be. I wanted to be out there on the ragged edge doing James Bond stuff, right? Incredible things. But I needed to learn strategy, communication. Again, I was put in the right place at the right moment to learn the right skills. And I did listen. I learned. And I grew. Now, as often happens in the military, you volunteer for more, you're voluntold for more, but you're doing more. I moved around the world. Eventually, I got sent to a school in Arizona where one of the most important things in my life occurred. I met my wife. We dated for 2 months. I ran off to Vegas. We got married. We've been married for 25 years, 26 years, September 1st. You all, who we choose to go through life with matters. Where is the young couple? Guys, congratulations and blessed and good luck. You know, it's an important thing. Never in our wildest dreams did I think I would ever be here today in politics, doing these things. It's a long way from where we came from. But as often happens, life takes turns. September 11th, 2001 was a big moment in our nation's history. I was in Fort Benning, Georgia, jumping out of an airplane for the very first time when that happened. On September 11th, we knew that life had changed. We were going from peace to war. It wasn't if, it was when. And like many young men, I was ready, willing, able to do that. None of us thought it would define our lives for over 2 decades. When we got back from that jump school, I quickly deployed to the war on terror. And I saw something that I thought was incredible. I saw Green Berets, I saw Delta Force, I saw the interagency working together to hunt terrorists, to protect our people and our way of life, to go protect the very thing we care about most. And I answered a proverbial question we all come to terms with. What do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I don't know who those people are or what they did to get there, but I'm going to do that. So I volunteered. 3 years later, after training, I became a Green Beret, something to which I'm incredibly proud to be a small part of an amazing community. Now, I did experience things. I did get shot. It is completely overrated, seriously. You all don't want to try that one. But I had a moment and an opportunity. That didn't break me, and it doesn't define me. I had an opportunity to do surgery on myself, save my arm in the field. I'm still the only Green Beret on record to do that. But this is a point to listen and a point to remember. When bad things happen, we can't control that. But God's not trying to break us. He's trying to make us stronger because we need to be stronger for what's ahead. It takes heat and pressure to temper steel. It's the same way with people. A few months later, I had another opportunity. I got hit by a mortar. I fell 20 feet. I broke my back. I blew up most of my lower back, and those injuries 7 years later led to the amputation of my left leg. It's a small price to pay. It's just a leg. It's okay, but God does have a sense of humor after all, right? I live in Tampa. We have the Buccaneers and Gasparilla, and I have a great pirate costume, guys, and it was incredible. So you've got to own it. But you know what? Through all of that, it could have broken me. The Army told me to quit, to retire, to give up, but I wanted to serve. I pushed them, and I had the opportunity because we made it to requalify and continue to serve for 5 additional years as the Green Beret. It wasn't given to me, I earned it. Shooting, moving, communicating, fast roping, rappelling, jumping out of airplanes day and night. If I did it with 2 legs, I had to do it with 1. Because in life, anything of value is always earned. So when that was done, I did what any self-respecting Green Beret does when they retire from the military. I ran a bike across America on a prosthetic leg, like Johnny Appleseed with brisket, 3,000 miles in 50 days. We called it the Breaking Bread Tour. I wanted to prove that we, the people, have more in common than those things that divide us. That when you get past the rhetoric, we're people. Find ways to bring them together. I went from the west coast of California to the east coast of Florida and back into Tampa, and we fed those 100,000 meals from Skid Row all the way across. Thank you so much. We went on to serve nearly 14.5 million meals afterwards to people affected by hurricanes, wildfires, and tornadoes. Every single place that those things happened, we showed up, and we protected and we served our people. Guys, there is a misrepresentation of leadership right now. People will tell you that leadership is getting on Twitter. Leadership is getting on Fox News and talking. Leadership is showing up in places like this, on something that used to be a home, on a slab in the middle of nowhere, in a community where there are no cameras, and leading from the front, making a difference for those people's lives. You see, leadership is protecting our people, no matter what the cost. A few years later, COVID happened, Afghanistan happened, and those 2 things back to back, I believe, were drastic failures of our government. And I made a plan. I realized quickly that you can't complain on the sideline. You have to get involved. And I got called out by my kid. Like, hey, kids, have any of you ever used your parents' words against them? Seriously, let's see a show of hands. Okay, there's one. You're very honest. I love you. That's awesome. My son, who's 14 now, he used our words against me for the very first time. It was incredible. And it was fascinating. What he said is, Dad, you're whining about COVID. You're whining about Afghanistan. What are you going to do about it? Well, touche. You see, we have a rule in my family, don't whine. come with a solution or don't come at all. So we did. I literally cold called members of Congress, showed up, and we connected. And we found ways to get in. That led me to the state Senate. Yes, I passed 55 bills. Constitutional carry, banning China from buying land, all of those things. But what you know what I'm most proud of? Through all of that, I was told over and over and over, you can't do this much work, you can't do this, you can't do that. I didn't let it faze me. I stood up. I figured out a way. I showed up early, I worked late, and we carried the load until it was complete, until we did what we had to do. Guys, business, life, politics, it's all the same. Stand for what's right because right is right and wrong is wrong. Work hard and be grateful. Have a heart of gratitude for every single thing you have, and most things work themselves out. Guys, we're blessed to live in this nation. There is no place like America. We live in the greatest state and the greatest nation in the history of our planet, and we should wake up grateful every day for the freedoms we have. But if good men and women like us don't step in and protect it, all is already gone. And I really want to thank this entire church, the congregation, and the community for allowing us to communicate here, because the church has to be involved. If we don't stand for our principles, our morals, our ethics, guys, who is going to? If the church doesn't use its voice and help pick our next governor and give the opportunity for people to speak, how is that word going to get to the congregation and the people? So thank you for having the courage and commitment to do that. It means the world to me, sir. So now you know where I come from. You know basically what I've done. Where are we going to go? You see, Marco Rubio said something a few weeks back, and he is an incredible statesman, he is. He said, the dream of America is simple. It is that anybody from anywhere can accomplish anything. That's perfect, because that's exactly what we are. We are the land of the free because of the brave, because of the sacrifice of people who came before us. That is a time-honored thing. From places like Yorktown in New Orleans to places among the poppies of Flanders Field, the cliffs of Pointe du Hoc, the Chosin River, the rice paddies of Vietnam, the mountains of Afghanistan, the deserts of Iraq, and places just like this. Guys, the fight at home is critical. If we believe that right is right and wrong is wrong, then we have to continue to stand against woke ideology. We have to stand against things that rip our family apart. We have to stand for our values. I want you to know that fundamental to my approach is our work with the faith community. I believe that through public-private partnership, our faith community, working with nonprofits, for-profits, and the government, we can accomplish incredible things. It turns out that when you go to where the people are and the people are in the churches, you can accomplish amazing things. So I look forward to being back. I look forward to charting a course of excellence together, because we are a free people, we're a giving people, and we don't leave people behind in Florida, certainly not in America. And guys, that is what the future has to look like, because that's what's right. I have a focus on three things: economy, education, and safety in the community. Many of your families came from war-torn communities. My family immigrated from Ireland in the 1900s. My wife's family, they were Druze from the Shuf Mountains above Beirut. They fled war and terrorism to come here and build their American dream. We all came from somewhere, and I want you to know that we have to stand on our values. Our American values are so unique. There is no place like it. I have traveled most of the world, and there are people who yearn and crave and cry for freedom, for peace. And they look to America. They wave our flag, and there are so many people in our country that take it for granted. Guys, my favorite president is Ronald Reagan, for many reasons, but there's one point I always come back to. He was often called the great communicator, but friends, he refuted that. He said he communicates great things. We, people, conservatives, people who care about our state, God's children, we have to communicate great things. That our freedoms come from God, they're upheld by our Constitution, it's not the government's money, it's the people's money. And that America was based on Judeo-Christian values. We are the land of the free because God has blessed this nation unlike any other. And we have to keep it that way, guys. We do. So we're going to make sure that our men and women in law enforcement have the time, tools, and training necessary to complete their mission. But they got to get back home to their families. Without safety, we don't have strong families, no strong community, no strong churches. Your businesses struggle, your economy shrinks, and it all falls apart. It all starts with safety. Our economy has to continue to grow. We are a $1.8 trillion economy now, $3 trillion by 2030. That will make us the 10th largest economy in the world, just our state. We have to create opportunity, and it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your race, your creed, your color, whether you have a great family or no family at all, a rich family, or you grew up like me on welfare. Because America must be, and Florida will lead. So we make sure America is a place where anybody from anywhere can become anything, because that is the American dream. When we do that, we have to connect our economy to education. And let me be very clear here. Education is the single most important thing we can talk about. Every hope, every dream, every aspiration I have, it's not about me. It's about my kids. Like many of you, there are many terms that can be used to define me, but dad and husband are the two things that I care most about, and I believe most define me. Everything we teach our kids today will be the reality of our state and our nation tomorrow. So we got to get it right. I have three things to focus on, and I think it's important. One, we have to disconnect. We have to walk back from this platform of constant cyber, constant threat, this connectedness to the internet 24/7, 365. Guys, it's harming us. People aren't connecting on a human level. Have you thought about the cyber footprint and risk our kids fall under? Where are our kindergartners that are going into school now going to be in 12 years? Their personal identity is out there. It's being shared and broken many times. What will their lives be like if we don't stand firm now? The second point is this: it's time to move to classical education. It is. It is time to stand and fight to make sure we create great citizens through true education, not indoctrination. That we teach them the truth of what we are as a nation, that God has blessed us, that we came from many backgrounds, but we are the American people. We have to give them tools like Socratic methodology. We have to introduce the arts at an earlier age because brains develop differently when they've been given access to the arts. We have to give them executive function so they can do complex problem solving to move forward and accomplish amazing things. And let me be clear, I don't want our kids to be competitive. I want them to win. I do. Winning matters still, it does. Because when our children win, Florida wins. When Florida wins, America wins, and that is exactly how it has to be. Our nation does more good throughout this planet than any and all other nations combined. We're gonna have to keep it that way. What else can we do in education? How many of you remember home ec? Guys, home ec saves lives. It does. If you can cook, balance your account, clean for yourself, and solve simple home problems, you're prepared for adulthood a little bit better. We're gonna have to bring that back on a functional level. Everybody deserves to be prepared. Not all parents teach their kids that. Not all people have parents. Everyone deserves those tools. The last part, and I think this is incredibly important, when you align our economy with our universities and our education system and our high schools, you can project jobs on a 1, 3, 5, and 10-year basis. We need to bring the trades back to every single high school in Florida. It's critical. We do. But you know what's great? Through apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship, we can make sure that there are real jobs, real opportunity. There's been a bias for many years that you had to have a bachelor's, a master's, or a PhD to be successful. It's just not true. Friends, it isn't. Whether you want to get a job, go to the trades, you want to go to college, or you want to serve, everything is great. There are no second-class citizens in Florida. Not now, not ever. Certainly not under my watch. And we're going to demand excellence in every single thing we do because, yes, winning does matter, and I want your kids and my kids to win. If it works for the trades, it works for law enforcement, fire, nurses' aides, emergency managers. Every single one of those can benefit from that. That gives us an economy that continues to grow. It lets us keep our talent here, and it gives our kids real opportunity at jobs moving forward. I want to close this thing now because I want to leave time, and I'm watching it closely in the back because you all move like clockwork here. It's incredible. I want to make sure you have time for questions and answers. But I want you to know this. When you make your decision for who is going to lead this state, who comes after Governor Ron DeSantis, I want you to think of three simple things. I do. What is their track record of performance? Have they shown up and got things done, or have they not shown up? And they left things on the table. If you can't perform, you don't deserve a promotion. Number two, what do they do when things get wrong, when they go bad, when disasters strike? Do they run to the microphone, to Twitter, or do they run to the people? My entire life has been dedicated to running to the people, whether in combat, whether in business, as a nonprofit feeding people, or like last June, when Iran and Israel kicked off, on the day before Father's Day, I had to sit down with my boys because I got calls from hundreds and then thousands of American citizens trapped in the Middle East. And I had to tell them, boys, I wouldn't be much of a man, and I certainly wouldn't be much of a dad if I didn't go bring our people home because of my own safety. So I got on a plane from Tampa to Cyprus. From Cyprus, I flew to Jordan, and in Jordan, I did cross-border operations throughout the Middle East, and I personally brought home 2,300 American citizens. You see, the primary job of any governor is to protect our people and way of life and preserve it for the next generation. I take that serious, even if it means flying into a combat zone to do it. And the last thing is this: where does their moral compass point? Does it point to themselves and their own glory, or does it point to God, to our community, to our people? My moral compass points to the same place it always has. Whether it was growing up in welfare, serving in the military, serving as a state senator, your lieutenant governor, or now as a candidate to be the next governor of Florida. Guys, it's about the people. It's not about me. My moral compass was true in places like Afghanistan and Iraq, when I would have to have a phone call or fly home and talk to a family who lost their loved one, often their dad, their husband, or their son, who gave that last full measure of devotion, who was willing to put everything on the line for a people, for the idea that is America. You see, when you had to have that conversation, I can promise you, it just hits a little sweeter. It matters just a little bit more. I will not let you down. I will not let your children down. Because when I do that, I'm fulfilling my primary responsibility as a dad and as a husband. And that's to protect and preserve what we have so my children, your children, the next generation can live a better life than we ever imagined. Guys, thank you for your time. I want to say God bless you. God bless the great state of Florida. May God continue to bless these United States of America. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you so much.